Hey guys, welcome back to another movie review. Previously, I reviewed Hoosiers, which was a lot of fun to do. Really enjoyed going through that movie. Hope you guys enjoyed the review as well. Today, I want to talk about a very, very serious subject. Very serious. I want to talk about 1980s body swapping movies. That's right. Yep. Between 1987 and 1989, there were 5 films that came out that all dealt with a similar theme. People switching bodies, trading bodies, and in the case of one, aging upwards. So they were basically out-of-body experiences. So I want to go through those, and I want to rank those. I'm not going to include any of the other ones that came afterwards or before. There was Freaky Friday, the original and the remake. I didn't see either one. There was The Hot Chick with Rob Schneider, which I definitely did not see, nor do I have any intention to. There was also The Change Up. That was the most recent one, I think, with Ryan Reynolds and Jason Bateman. There was I'm blanking right now. Even there's even been other versions of it, like Face Off, John Travolta, Nicolas Cage. That was a more action-oriented version of this idea. I mean, there's always going to be some variation or permutation of this concept of face swapping or body swapping. 17 again. That was again not a body swapping. That was an aging downwards, turning into Zac Efron. 13 going on 30, which I did see. That was Jennifer Garner and Mark Ruffalo. Jennifer Garner was the adult version of her character. So it's basically like a female version of Big. I enjoyed that one. But I'm not going to be covering any of those. It's just these 5 that came out from 1987 to 1989 because most people see these films as the ones that gave birth to the genre, even though I think the original Freaky Friday came out before these. So the first one on the list, I'll go from first to worst. So the first one at the list, at the very top of the list, is definitely Big, from 1988, which starred Tom Hanks, Elizabeth Perkins, and Robert Loggia, and was directed by Penny Marshall. That was the clear winner here. It was a great script, very funny, very emotional, very heartwarming. Tom Hanks did a fantastic job as the adult version of his character of the kid. He got an Academy Award nomination for his performance, deservedly so. It was great. I mean, it's definitely a classic. And again, that one is not exactly fits this category because it was just a kid turning into an adult. So there was no swapping of body swapping or body exchange. It was just essentially the 13-year-old kid turning into the 35-year-old Tom Hanks. So that would be number 1. Number 2 is Vice Versa, from 1988, that starred Judge Reinhold and Fred Savage. Judge Reinhold was like this very harried Chicago department store executive, and he changed his bodies with his 11-year. I think Fred Savage was 11 years old at the time, so it would be his 11-year-old son. And it was good. I liked it. Wasn't anything earth-shattering or groundbreaking, but it was funny. It was touching. Judge Reinhold and Fred Savage had really good chemistry. They played off each other very well, and I think they each did a good job both as their characters and channeling the other character. Roger Ebert, in one of his reviews for these movies, he made a very good point. He said that there is really no adequate way to capture or portray how someone could inhabit somebody else's body in a movie. The only thing they can do is just to show the same actor giving a different performance, just behaving differently and acting differently. So you really need very talented and very skilled actors to pull it off. And I do think that Judge Reinhold and Fred Savage were able to do that, because you, as an audience member, have to realize that when the swap happens, that this character is not really this character. This character is channeling the other character. And I know that in a lot of these movies, they have the actors during rehearsals. They have the actors read each other's role to see how each would play the other. And it was very clear that Judge Reinhold and Fred Savage did a lot of rehearsal and a lot of preparation in doing that, because I really do think that they were able to copy each other's mannerisms and speaking styles, and it worked for me. I enjoyed it. So that would probably be my number two, and then my number three. That's kind of when we start getting into the mediocre category. Number three would be 18 Again, which also came out in 1988. That was with George Burns in his final film role, and Charlie Schlatter, who was an unknown at the time. He later went on to become the TV version of Ferris Bueller, although that show didn't last. And then I think since then he's gone on to do a lot of voiceover work. The problem with that one was that it was a one-way swap, because even though they traded bodies, George Burns' character was in a coma. So you did not get to see Charlie Schlatter's character in George Burns' body. You only got to see Charlie Schlatter basically channeling George Burns, doing a George Burns impression, and not a very good one, I might add. And he really had to carry the whole movie, and I just don't think that he had the chops. I don't think he was up to it at that time. He was pretty much an unknown at the time, and he didn't have it. The comedy was very bland. You had seen a lot of the situations before with some of these other body swapping movies. Not so good. Not so good. And now we get into kind of really the bad category. Number four on the list would be Like Father, Like Son. That came out in 1987. That was the first one of this batch. Dudley Moore, Kirk Cameron, very, very poor. Unfunny. Dudley Moore, I think, gave a very amateurish performance. Kirk Cameron didn't do a great job either. It was very predictable, very silly. Sean Astin was in there as the friend to the Kirk Cameron character. It just wasn't that good. Neither one was convincing as either their characters or the other when they did the switch. I mean, they didn't do a good job. And then probably bringing up the rear would probably be Dream a Little Dream, which came out in 1989. That was the last of these five, and that was the one that starred the two Coreys, Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. Not so good. I didn't like the way it was shot and edited. The storyline was borderline incomprehensible. It was very confusing. I had a lot of difficulty following it. Corey Feldman, that was the one where Corey Feldman switches bodies with Jason Robards, the late great Jason Robards. But you would hardly know it, because even after the swap, like, Corey Feldman just still goes around acting like Corey Feldman and behaving like a regular kid. I mean, you had no sense at all that an older man was inhabiting this younger kid's body. The only good thing about that movie was Meredith Salinger. Very attractive, very appealing, very talented. In real life, I think she's also very smart, because I think she actually went on to Harvard and went on to do other roles as well. So any scene with her is good in the movie. There's also a really fun end credits song and dance number that Jason Robards and Corey Feldman do, set to the tune of a new version of Dream a Little Dream. The song, it was like a duet between Mel Torme and Mickey Thomas. Robards and Feldman, they do a good job lip syncing to the song and having a lot of fun. It's on YouTube. You could find it. That was a lot of fun to see, and I kind of wish that level of fun or class or elegance almost found its way into the preceding movie, because the rest of it was just junk. So that would be my list from top to bottom. Big, although as we said, Big gets kind of an asterisk because it doesn't exactly fit this formula. Then Vice Versa, then 18 Again, then Like Father, Like Son, then Dream a Little Dream. So that's it. Those are my quick reviews of 1980s body swapping movies. Thanks for watching and take care. Bye-bye.